This feel like Spirit Airline seats.
Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs with JP Saxe.
Welcome to Ups and Downs with JP Saxe. My guest today is my friend Alyesha Wise, and we're going to ask her about her thoughts and feelings on a Teeter Totter, as per usual. Thanks for coming to hang on Teeter Totter.
Thanks for having me. Teeter Totter is a new word for me,
You
by
call
the
it
way.
seesaws here? Have you been on one?
I've been on seesaws.
Okay, you got push.
I am. I'm using all my strength.
With your feet? Okay, question one. So you're a poet.
Yes.
And you're a brilliant poet and a brilliant writer.
Thank you.
And you share a lot about yourself in your writing in a very exposed, vulnerable way. And so you get up in front of strangers, tell them a lot about oftentimes the most private parts of what it means to be you.
Yeah.
How does your relationship with people as an artist affect your relationship with people when you're not Alyesha Wise the poet, you're just yourself?
Oh, my relationship with people as an artist, it's pretty much how it impacts it because poetry is in everything I do. So it's hard to say, oh, this is how I interact with people within my work of poetry, and this is how I interact with people like, you know, in everyday life, because I truly believe poetry is in everything. So it's like that whole idea of like, are you a full-time artist or whatever? Yeah, like I work for a nonprofit right now, but I really feel like a full-time artist in everything because all of my work is poetry. Like my friendships, they're poetry. My relationship, my romantic relationship, poetry. My relationship with my cats, like I truly see it in everything. So what I learned from the stage, I'm grateful for the stage because it's like, the only difference is it's more practice, you know, being in those spaces where I have to intentionally like bring out a paper or a pen, or I'm old school technology, or a computer when I have to actually have a deadline. That's practice. That's like practice for my real life poetry, which is when I get off stage and when I have to interact, when I have to grow as an individual. That's the real work. So yeah, the stage is more practice for the bigger work, which is everything I do outside of it. I'm trying. Sorry. Oh my God, did I hurt you?
No, you're totally fine. Okay. Well, wait. Like, here, I'll push up and then you.
Maybe I'm just not good at this.
That's okay. You're doing great. You can honestly, even if you just put your legs up, I'll totally do all the teeter-tottering. Like, I can control the teeter-totter. Okay. So I guess on that, because with songwriting, people feel like they have a sense of who I am in my work.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of artists outside of poetry will sort of have their artist identity and then have their identity. And they're not necessarily the same.
Yeah.
But the way you're talking about it, it sounds like there's really not much of a line between who you are as an artist and as a poet and who you are as a human.
There's not, and that may not be a great thing all the way when you phrase it that way. You know, like it's tough. I am a very private, quiet person, and I get very silly and open with people the more I know them, or, you know, after like a third glass of red wine. But outside of that, like, I think people in poetry have gotten to know that serious side of me, which I'm okay with. I love my privacy. I love having this intimate relationship with myself and with those who love me closely, and holding that dear, knowing that's something kind of private and special. But there are times that I wish people knew more about me. It gets it can get very isolating, especially as a Black woman. As a Black, you know, I am a Black queer woman, but I know I'm not in a presentably open, you know, queer relationship, obvious, you know. But the point is, with all those marginalized identities, you already have a lot of things put on you as far as your personality goes. It's like, oh, she's quiet because she's closed off. Maybe she's quiet because she's mean. Like, I've heard all those things and I've laughed them off because sometimes it's funny, especially if it's coming from a youth, which was a long time ago. But the point is, we can box people in depending on, you know, our preconceived ideas of who they are. And often because of those things, I want people, I truly walk in this world like I don't owe anyone an explanation of myself. But there are times even standing firm in that can get tiring. And I want people to know, like, yo, I'm silly. I like basketball. I make up songs on a regular. Like, you feel me? It's just, it can become exhausting. So I said all that to say, to answer your question, I am serious on the stage, and I have a certain personality on the stage. I also have off the stage quite often because it feels like protection, but I wish I could let that down more. And I'm really grateful for the people in my life, like you often, who helped me let that down.
You have a poem, you have that, I don't know what it's called, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but you have that poem where you talk about being told you have resting bitch face. I like that poem. Is that on the internet?
It is.
That's a good one. People should check out that poem.
It's called Dower. Someone put it up as another title. They thought it was funny, but it's called Dower.
Cool.
Yeah.
Why is it called Dower?
Because, that's just how I operate through this. Like, it's just, expression. It's just the mood of the poem. I like naming my poems things that aren't that obvious, but that capture the energy of the poem. And actually, it was a student of mine who helped me name that poem. I was like, what am I saying here when I say like resting bitch face and stop making me try to be something that I am not and yada, yada, yada. And the student was like, Dower. And I said, thank you.
I don't think I've heard that word before.
Really? Yeah, that was my first time learning the word too. I think it was like more of like a flat kind of affect, kind of like just like, but if I'm wrong, correct me, someone.
Oh, yeah. I certainly won't be the one to do that.
For sure.
There's also something you said where you had a disclaimer on your sexuality based on your current relationship, and I think people's gender expression, people's sexuality is not determined by their current situation.
It's just, my sexuality, and I say the public like I have like millions and millions of fans or something, but my sexuality to those who know me. So it's so funny. If y'all just want a quick laugh, like if you want a quick laugh, go look at my Wikipedia. I did not write my original Wikipedia. I was desperate and I had to go in and edit it, because you'll see from where it stands now. You'll probably have to take a big guess as to what it looked like before. The person put in there, she was a lesbian and then like fell in love with a man. So now she identifies as bisexual, which is hilarious, but it's constantly been like a really large conversation, because what I love about my exploration with my sexuality, right now I'm like really happily married to my second best friend. I have a bestie, I have my BFH, and I have my best friend who's my partner and my husband. And the great part is that, I don't feel like I have to be inside of these confines. I still feel like I'm me, Alyesha, like Wise, who I've always been. But that's not always easy for the public to see someone going from identifying something that they were like, you are my community, you are my people, you speak for us, to all of a sudden somewhere else. And it's like betrayal. And that was definitely like some of the feelings. So what I've learned from my navigation, outside of being fearful sometime of stepping into who I need to be, is, again, poetry. I'm a poem. I am a poem. And sometimes a poem edits itself. The best poems surprise themselves. A poem is like, oh shit, I didn't know you were going to say that. And to say that as the author, that's beautiful. And it doesn't have to change who I am. I'm just evolving. My poem is just expanding. My collection is just getting bigger. That's all. Metaphor. The point is, it's so funny how people view it. And I purposely kept that part on the Wikipedia, because as much as people might be like, what the hell? I just find it hilarious.
That's really beautiful, Alyesha. All that. Wikipedia is definitely an exercise in accepting other people's oversimplification of what it means to be ourselves.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, Wikipedia is strange. It's a strange place. They keep yelling at me to donate.
Oh yeah, they yell at all of us.
I should.
Do you think you should?
It's pressure. It's like you're giving me all this information and I'm giving you nothing. I literally go, leave me alone. And then I go, that's not nice. I should probably see if I could donate $1.
Yeah, I've never really thought about my ethical obligation to Wikipedia.
Wikipedia's under attack.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
By who?
By, those people who are like, Wikipedia.
Wait, which side are we on?
Like the right side, they're like, we don't like Wikipedia.
Like
Wikipedia
not the right side,
evil.
like the right
that
side.
Right side.
Got it.
You know what I mean? It's another conversation.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess we got to step up for Wikipedia.
That's
I've always
the
been
conflict.
so mad at them.
Me too.
They define me purely by my attachments to other people who I don't feel that attached to anymore.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty terrible.
Well, I wouldn't say terrible.
People have narratives. They have ideas of we all have ideas of who we are, to other people. I've learned to be patient with that. I think it was going back to what I was just saying. We spend so much time in all the things we could be doing with our precious time. I wish I could really stop giving a shit about time. I'm so annoyed. I want to know that it's there and I don't have to think about it. And the point is, in all this time we have, I want to be able to focus on things more than I have to prove to someone who I am or how I function in this life. It is impossible, especially with all the people now, all the popular faces everywhere, everything happening, that you're going to know about everything going on with someone, how they really feel about something. I wish we just gave room for each other to be and breathe a little bit more, and for us to stop worrying about how other people think about us. But way easier said than done.
I completely agree, and I feel you deeply on that one. Our mutual friend Edwin
Yeah.
said to me once that they were more concerned at this point in their life with the celebration of me than the rejection of you.
Yep.
I
Yes.
really liked
Amen.
that.
Yes, I'm right there. I am right there. I mean, it also may have something to do with everyone fearfully thinking about doom and the end of the
You're like,
world.
let's
I'm
Teeter
trying.
Totter.
I'm going to try
Okay,
again.
we'll try again.
But I think, yeah, it's never a wrong time to just, decide to start giving less of a shit about things.
Yeah.
We take the world too seriously.
It's a good time to start giving, wait, what did you say again?
Less of a shit.
Less of a shit.
I mean, we could give more. Don't get me wrong. Hold on. Because people will take that and go, what? I'm a person who obviously a lot of my work is about community and it's about my neighbors, even though they don't talk to me. It's about, building this shitty world. But I think as far as like, we care too much about things that don't matter.
Yeah. And maybe not enough about things that do.
Exactly. And things that we care about can be fun too. Things that we care about, like we can still find community in that. We can still be great people in that. We can be very popular and rich if we learn how to redefine what it means to be rich. We just don't teach those things enough, and that breaks my heart. That's why I'm a poet.
Yeah. I think poetry makes a lot of space for people to have grace for their own imperfection. Or have grace for their own undeserving self-hatred.
It gives us more of an ability to also hold mirrors up to each other. There's nothing like seeing someone, I mean, the same is probably true in different art forms, like to have someone on stage saying something so raw. You don't hear that a lot. I mean, I love music. My first inspiration was hip hop and music in general. But something about music for me, I can only speak for me as a poet, I can get lost in the sound in a song and the feeling, the rhythm. But when you take all that away in the background, and it's just the poet's raw voice, and I hear them getting to the point that they look like this hurts to say this on stage, but they need to let it out. It's such a necessary mirror. It's something that goes, oh my gosh, like we always hear, oh, you need to know you're not alone, but that's really a moment where you know you're not alone. And as someone who grew up, I'm gonna go off tangent for a second, but as someone who grew up in a Baptist church, it gives such that same feeling of, one of the things I miss about church is that feeling of like, even if they were speaking bullshit on the podium, which is another conversation, it was something about the organ and the sound and the rhythm and all these hallelujah, yes, that just brought y'all together. It's a really, really big rush in a Baptist church. I love that more than I miss anything else. The same thing happens in poetry spaces, especially spoken word spaces. You get up there and you just feel like something is happening within us. And I want us to do something with whatever's happening. I know we spit poetry and I think that's enough for a lot of us, but there's so much more we can be doing with that drive and that energy. Going back to stop giving a shit about other things and focus on where we can be focusing on. But it's really powerful what we bring, to a room.
Hey, Alyesha, thanks for being so generous with your thoughts and mind and words and
thank you.
Extraordinarily
The sun
eloquent
going
way
down.
of saying shit. I love you. Thank
Absolutely.
you for this.
I love you very much.
Yay!
Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs with JP Saxe.